Industrial complexities in modern society. Military, pharmaceuticals, marijuana, rap music, prisons, and media. Modern society is deeply intertwined with various industrial complexes that exert significant influence on politics, culture, and the economy. These sectors often operate behind the scenes, yet their impact is felt in every aspect of life. From the military-industrial complex that dictates foreign policy decisions to the prison-industrial system that perpetuates mass incarceration, these industries have complexities that cannot be ignored. The intertwining of rap music, the pharmaceutical industry, marijuana legalization, and media further complicates this picture, painting a broader view of how power and money flow through our world. This article explores these intersections, revealing the often unseen forces driving them. The military-industrial complex. The term military-industrial complex was famously introduced by President Dwight D. Eisenhower in his 1961 farewell address. He warned the American public about the growing power of a sector that increasingly shaped national policy. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. President Dwight D. Eisenhower. Today, the military-industrial complex is more powerful than ever, influencing not only defense spending, but also foreign policy decisions. The United States spends more on its military than the next several countries combined, with contracts funneled to defense contractors such as Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Raytheon. These corporations exert immense lobbying power in Washington, ensuring the continued funding of defense projects even when they may not be necessary. The revolving door between government and defense contractors only deepens the issue, as former military officials often take high-paying jobs in the private sector after leaving public service. This symbiotic relationship between the government and the defense industry blurs the lines of accountability, creating a self-perpetuating cycle where war becomes an industry. The pharmaceutical industry and the opioid crisis. The pharmaceutical industry represents another form of industrial power that has an outsized influence on public health, policy, and economy. The opioid crisis, largely driven by pharmaceutical companies, exemplifies the dangers of unchecked corporate influence. Major companies, such as Purdue Pharma, have been accused of aggressively marketing highly addictive opioids like OxyContin while downplaying their risks. We created a system where pain became the fifth vital sign, and opioids became the answer to that pain. Pharmaceutical companies and doctors exploited this system to sell a product that they knew could destroy lives. Dr. Andrew Kolodny, Executive Director of Physicians for Responsible Opioid Prescribing. The consequences of this crisis have been catastrophic, with millions of people becoming addicted and hundreds of thousands losing their lives to overdoses. Despite the enormous human toll, pharmaceutical companies have largely avoided meaningful accountability, using their vast resources to settle lawsuits with government entities rather than face criminal charges. In addition to the opioid crisis, the pharmaceutical industry exerts substantial influence on drug pricing and healthcare policy. Lobbying groups such as the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, PHRMA, spend billions to ensure favorable legislation, often at the expense of affordable health care. The rise of the marijuana industry. Marijuana legalization has sparked a new form of industrial complexity, one that intersects with criminal justice, health care, and the economy. With more states legalizing both medicinal and recreational marijuana, the industry has boomed, creating a multi-billion-dollar market. However, this new industry is still marred by the remnants of the war on drugs, which disproportionately affected minority communities for decades. The legal marijuana industry is booming, but many of the people who were incarcerated for selling marijuana remain in prison. It's a bitter irony that highlights the racial and economic disparities at the heart of the criminal justice system. Michelle Alexander, author of The New Jim Crow. The legal marijuana market also faces its own set of complexities, from regulations that vary state by state to the ongoing tension between federal and state law. Additionally, large corporations are beginning to dominate the market, sidelining smaller entrepreneurs who helped pave the way for legalization. The influx of corporate money into the marijuana industry raises concerns about whether the social justice goals of legalization, such as reducing incarceration and promoting equity, will be realized or co-opted by profit-driven motives. Rap music and its role in the cultural complex. Rap music, once a subversive form of expression, has become one of the most powerful forces in global culture. However, its rise to prominence has not been without controversy. Critics often argue that the commercialization of rap music has diluted its message, turning a genre that once spoke truth to power into a vehicle for corporate profit. Themes of violence, materialism, and misogyny are often highlighted by the media, overshadowing the deeper social commentary many artists attempt to convey. Rap has the potential to uplift, educate, and mobilize. But when you look at the mainstream rap industry today, it's hard not to see the ways in which corporate interests have influenced the music. They're selling lifestyles, not liberation. Chuck D., Public Enemy. The corporate control of rap music has led to the commodification of rebellion. Major labels often push artists to create content that is more likely to sell, regardless of its impact on society. This has led to the glorification of criminal lifestyles, which in turn feeds into the prison industrial complex as young men, particularly young black men, become entrapped in cycles of violence and incarceration. The prison industrial complex. The prison industrial complex represents one of the most troubling intersections of capitalism and criminal justice. With private prisons earning profits based on the number of inmates they house, the incentive to incarcerate people has become a driving force in shaping criminal justice policies. Mandatory minimum sentencing, the war on drugs, and three-strikes laws have all contributed to a system that prioritizes punishment over rehabilitation. The prison industrial complex is not about justice. It's about profit, plain and simple. Prisons are filled with people, not because they are dangerous, but because incarcerating them is lucrative. Angela Davis, activist and author. The prison system in the U.S. is now a multi-billion-dollar industry that profits from mass incarceration, particularly of people of color. Companies that provide food services, phone calls, and even health care to inmates also profit from this system, creating a financial incentive to keep prisons full. The intersection of rap music and the prison industrial complex is a complex one. Some argue that the messages in mainstream rap music contribute to the criminalization of black youth, while others see rap as a way to expose the realities of life in marginalized communities. Either way, the links between culture, industry, and incarceration are undeniable. Media's role in shaping public perception. Media, both traditional and social, plays a crucial role in how these industrial complexes are perceived by the public. Corporate-controlled media often provides a narrow lens through which these issues are viewed, focusing on sensational stories rather than the systemic problems behind them. For example, news outlets might report on violent crime rates, but fail to address the social and economic conditions that lead to crime. The media is complicit in perpetuating the very systems it claims to be holding accountable. When was the last time you saw a serious, in-depth investigation into the military-industrial complex or the prison system on primetime news? Noam Chomsky, linguist and political commentator. Moreover, the rise of social media has allowed misinformation to spread more easily, further complicating public discourse on these issues. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter are often used to amplify polarizing voices, making it difficult to have productive conversations about the industrial systems shaping our lives. Conclusion. The military, pharmaceutical, marijuana, rap music, prison, and media industries represent complex systems of power and influence that shape modern society in profound ways. While each industry operates independently, their intersections reveal a web of interests that often prioritize profit over people. Understanding these complexities is crucial to challenging the status quo and building a more just and equitable society. In addressing these issues, it is vital to remain vigilant, as Eisenhower warned more than 6 decades ago, and to question the systems that profit from human suffering. Only then can we hope to unravel the industrial complexities that define our age and create a future that works for all.